Happiness is not something you find outside of yourself. It is something that already lives within you. In the busy rhythm of modern American life, we often get swept up in work, social media, and the pressure to succeed. Every day, you might wake up to dozens of phone notifications, then sink into back-to-back meetings, endless traffic jams, and the constant comparison game on social media. All of this slowly makes our hearts heavier. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true peace does not come from chasing the outside world. It comes from the ability to let go and reconnect with ourselves. Letting go does not mean giving up on life. It means freeing the mind from unnecessary burdens, the expectations, the comparisons, and the fears that only exhaust us. In today's video, we will explore 9 Buddhist lessons that can help you discover genuine happiness, overcome stress, and live a more meaningful life. This will be both a profound and practical journey, one that you can apply right away in your everyday life. Lesson 1. Understanding the value of solitude. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught, the wise live alone, like the rhinoceros, free and unentangled. At first, this may sound surprising. Why live alone? Is happiness not found in connection, in friendship, in family? But what the Buddha emphasized is not isolation. He was pointing out that solitude can become fertile ground for self-discovery. Here in America, our culture often equates joy with being in a crowd. Loud parties, social gatherings, or energetic meetups. In that setting, being alone sometimes carries a negative label, as if it were a sign of failure or abandonment. Yet the truth is, many of us feel lonely even when standing in a crowded room. The reason is that we have never learned how to truly enjoy our own presence. The Buddha taught that when we can sit quietly with ourselves, without agitation, we begin to taste freedom. Solitude, when understood correctly, is not an emptiness to be filled. It is a precious space to listen to the heart. It is like when you turn off the city noise and suddenly notice the breeze, the sound of flowing water, and the rhythm of your own breath. Things that were always there but went unnoticed. Imagine walking alone through a national park such as Yellowstone or Yosemite. There is no rush of work, no endless phone notifications, only your footsteps blending with the natural sounds of wind and leaves. In that moment, you realize solitude is not absence, but fullness. Fullness of nature, of space, of life. Most of all, fullness of yourself. Modern psychology also confirms the value of solitude. A study at Harvard University found that spending time alone, especially in nature, directly reduces stress and improves focus. In American society, where schedules are packed and people are always on the move, stillness has become a kind of luxury item few allow themselves. Yet these very moments of quiet are what restore the brain and renew the heart. In Buddhism, solitude is deeply connected with meditation. When you sit alone in meditation, you begin to notice thoughts and feelings, usually hidden by a rushed lifestyle. At first, the silence may feel uncomfortable. It exposes anxieties, it reveals old wounds. But if you patiently stay with it, you discover that this discomfort is the first step toward truly understanding yourself. There is a story from a modern Zen master. A student once said, "Teacher, I am afraid of being alone. I feel abandoned." The master smiled and replied, "When you fear being alone, it is because you have not yet met yourself. Once you sit down and look deeply within, you will realize you were never truly alone." This answer is not just philosophy. It is an invitation to face solitude as a friend, not as an enemy. In the West, Many people try to cover up loneliness with music, books, alcohol, or endless scrolling on social media. But Buddhism offers another path. Simply sit and breathe. Watch your loneliness the way you watch the sky. You will see it is not fixed. It shifts, it changes, and when you pause long enough to really look, solitude becomes an opening into a vast inner world. The interesting thing is, once you learn to be at ease with solitude, it actually becomes easier to connect with others, because you no longer chase validation or joy in a desperate way. Instead, you enter relationships from a place of steadiness and freedom, like the rhinoceros walking alone through the deep forest, not lonely, but at peace. So how can you practice this in a busy American life? A simple suggestion is to give yourself at least 10 minutes a day just to be alone. No phone, no social media, no work. You might take a short walk around the neighborhood, sit by the window with a cup of tea, or simply breathe deeply a few times. When you allow yourself that space, you will see solitude is no longer something to fear, but a teacher to learn from. As the Buddha taught, solitude is a path to freedom. It is not withdrawing from the world, but returning to yourself. And only when you can truly be with yourself can you step back out into the world, living fully, calmly, and free amidst all of its changes. Lesson 2. Creating an inspiring personal space. In modern life, many people see time spent alone as an emptiness that must be filled. We often rush to grab the phone, turn on the television, or scroll through social media just to avoid facing silence. Yet the Buddha taught that this very silence is the doorway to peace, and instead of letting it haunt us, we can transform it into an inspiring space. Think of your small room as your own private world. You might place a comfortable chair by the window, where the morning light pours in. On the table, a notebook and pen wait for you to capture the thoughts of your day. In the corner, perhaps a candle or a picture of a lotus flower, reminding your mind of calm whenever you see it. When you step into this space, you know you are entering something sacred, not a church, not a temple, but the sanctuary of your own heart. Modern science also confirms the value of creating personal space. A study from Harvard University showed that people who practiced mindfulness for at least 15 minutes a day reduced their stress levels by nearly 30%. Mindfulness does not require hours of silent sitting. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as reading an inspiring page, writing a few lines in your journal, or quietly sitting to breathe. You may wonder, how can I make my time alone joyful instead of boring? The answer is to turn it into a small adventure. Instead of scrolling through social media, you might try painting a picture, practicing yoga, or learning how to cook a new dish. The point is not the final result, but the joy you discover in the process. By doing so, you create your own personal universe, where each small act nurtures the vibrancy of your inner life. Picture this, an afternoon in the suburbs. You sit on the porch as a gentle breeze brushes past, holding a book in your hand. As you turn each page, you are not only reading the words, but also reading yourself, the thoughts that arise, the emotions that surface. Every single moment becomes a brick in the solid home of your inner being. In Buddhism, space is not only a physical place, but also a state of mind. When you know how to create an inspiring personal space, you are practicing meditation in daily life. Meditation does not only happen on the cushion, it lives in every mindful action. When you sip a cup of tea, when you touch a flower, when you allow silence to embrace your heart. So here is a small challenge for you. Today, Spend at least 15 minutes creating your own space. Clear a corner of your room, add a green plant, write a few lines in your notebook, then sit down and simply enjoy. When you are fully present in that space, you will notice that loneliness fades away, replaced by a sense of fullness, a joy that rises from within, independent of anyone else. Lesson 3. Having a deep conversation with yourself. There is a paradox in modern American society. We talk to dozens of people every day, co-workers, friends, family, yet we rarely have a true conversation with ourselves. The Buddha taught that knowing yourself is the doorway to wisdom, and yet we often neglect the most important dialogue of all, the dialogue with our own heart. One simple but powerful way to practice this is journaling. It does not need to be elegant or poetic writing. Just a few honest lines. How do I feel today? What made me happy? What is weighing on me right now? When you write it down, you allow the mind to express what it has been holding inside. It is like opening a window so light can shine into the hidden corners of your soul. A study from the University of California found that writing in a journal for just 10 minutes a day significantly reduces stress and improves mental health. When you put your emotions on paper, the brain begins to process them in a more positive way. Instead of letting tangled thoughts spin endlessly in your head, you place them on the page, see them from a distance, and learn how to let them go. In meditation, there is a practice called inner reflection. It does not require hours of silence. Sometimes it only takes a few minutes of sitting down, closing your eyes, and asking yourself a simple question: what truly brings me happiness? When asked enough times, this question leads you closer to the truth within your heart. Picture a quiet evening. You sit by candlelight, a journal open in front of you. Outside the window, the wind stirs the branches. You begin to write, awkwardly at first, but soon the words flow like a stream. You realize you are speaking to an old friend, yourself, a friend you have neglected for far too long. You may discover things that surprise you. Perhaps you crave peace more than success. Perhaps you long to spend more time with family rather than chasing money. This dialogue helps you see what truly matters, so you can realign the way you live each day. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said, "Be an island unto yourself." When we learn to talk with and listen to ourselves, we are no longer swept away by the storms of life. Instead, we become our own anchor, a steady island in the vast ocean. Here is a small challenge for you. For the next week, spend 10 minutes each day journaling or simply sitting in quiet to listen to your heart. Do not judge, do not criticize, just notice. At the end of the week, look back. You may see a subtle but profound shift. You understand yourself better, and as a result, you live more authentically with who you are. Lesson 4. Escaping the entertainment trap. In today's world, the smartphone has become almost inseparable from our hands. Many of us check our screens hundreds of times a day, endlessly scrolling through social media without noticing how time slips away. We use these endless streams of information to cover up loneliness, to avoid anxiety. But the Buddha taught that happiness does not come from distraction. It comes from a mind that is free and awake. When you depend on instant entertainment, it is like a thirsty person drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Social media, short videos, sensational news, all of it can bring a brief rush of excitement, but afterward it often leaves you empty and drained. This is the entertainment trap, and many do not realize they are caught in it. Buddhism invites us to do the opposite. Instead of running from loneliness with outside noise, we turn toward it with inner stillness. You can start with one simple step. Turn off your phone for 30 minutes a day. Just sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe. At first, you may feel restless, as if you are missing something important. But if you stay patient, you will discover another world, the world of your own mind. Imagine an evening after work. Instead of turning on Netflix or scrolling through TikTok, you power down every device and sit still. You hear your own breathing, the ticking of the clock, the rustle of leaves outside the window. Sounds that once seemed ordinary become the soundtrack of peace. In that moment, you realize you do not need any entertainment device to feel complete. A study from Stanford University found that even a short practice of mindfulness, like 10 minutes of focusing on the breath, can significantly reduce information overload in the brain. When you disconnect from technology, your mind has the chance to reset, just like restarting a computer. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha reminded us, only the one who knows how to stop can see the path. Taking a pause from the cycle of digital entertainment does not mean giving up joy. It means giving yourself the chance to discover true joy, the joy of stillness and the joy of real life happening right here and now. Here is a small challenge for you. Choose a time of day, perhaps 30 minutes before bed, to turn off all electronic devices. Leave your phone in another room. Instead, sit quietly and focus on your breathing. Notice what you feel. At first, it may be uncomfortable, but soon you will realize that you have escaped an invisible net that has held your mind captive for far too long. Lesson 5. Building quiet inner strength. In modern society, people often admire loud power, dazzling success, fame, or influence on social media. But the Buddha taught about another kind of strength, one that is deeper and more lasting, the quiet strength that comes from within. This inner power cannot be seen with the eyes. It is not about showing off or competing. It is the ability to stand firm no matter what happens. When you can be alone without feeling lonely, when you fail without falling into despair, when you face challenges and still hold peace, that is true inner strength. Remember the story of Sarah, an office worker in New York. After years of non-stop work, she suddenly lost her job due to company downsizing. At first, she fell into despair, worried about money, doubting her self-worth, and seeing a dark future ahead. But instead of drowning in fear, she began meditating every morning. Just 15 minutes of sitting quietly and breathing helped her regain calm. Over time, Sarah stopped seeing the job loss as a tragedy and began to see it as an opportunity to start over. She took new classes, found a new career, and most importantly, learned how to live with a free heart. Her strength was not loud, but it carried her through the storm. In Buddhism, inner strength is connected with freedom. When we realize that happiness does not depend on outside circumstances, we begin to build a solid foundation within. True strength is not about total control. It is about the ability to let go. Think of the bamboo standing in the storm. It does not resist rigidly, but bends with the wind. Its flexibility is what allows it to endure. Modern science points to the same truth. Research on resilience shows that people who practice mindfulness respond to difficulties with greater calm. They suffer less from long-term stress and are able to find wiser solutions. This shows that inner strength is not just philosophy, it is a practical life skill. Ask yourself, what would happen if tomorrow I lost my job or an important relationship? If the answer fills you with fear, it is a sign that you need to build more inner strength. And the way to do that is not by preparing every external scenario, but by training your inner mind. You can start with small steps. Each morning, instead of reaching for your phone, spend 5 minutes just sitting and breathing. When a difficult situation arises, instead of reacting instantly, pause and observe your feelings. Every time you do this, you are exercising your mental muscles. Over time, your strength grows, quietly but firmly. And one day, when someone asks, "How can you stay so calm in this situation?" you will simply smile, because you know that true power is not shaking the whole world, but keeping your own heart steady amidst all its changes. Lesson 6. Turning loneliness into a journey of self-discovery. In many cultures, loneliness is often seen as an enemy, but in the light of Buddhism, solitude can become a doorway to self-discovery. When we are no longer distracted by crowds or outside noise, we are given a rare chance to turn inward and ask, "Who am I really? What do I truly want from this life?" The Buddha once taught, self-understanding is the path to liberation. Knowing yourself is not only about recognizing strengths and weaknesses, it is about looking deeply into the hidden motivations, fears, and dreams we often try to cover up. It is in those quiet moments alone that these truths begin to surface. Imagine spending a weekend morning in your garden. You gently touch the soil, plant a few seeds, and watch them sprout. As you tend to the garden, you are also tending to your soul. Each leaf and each flower becomes a mirror of the inner life, sometimes flourishing, sometimes withering, all reminding you of impermanence, that everything is always changing. In Buddhism, the journey of self-discovery is not about finding a fixed self, but about realizing the nature of non-self, that the self is always shifting, always changing with time and conditions. When we see this clearly, we cling less to rigid identities and open the door to the freedom of living fully in each moment. Modern science echoes this wisdom. Research on self-reflection shows that people who regularly spend time alone in contemplation report higher levels of life satisfaction. They are less caught in social comparisons and more able to make decisions that align with their true values. There is a story from Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. As a young man, he would spend hours walking alone in the forest. He called these walks his silent conversations with himself. In that stillness, he found answers that no one else could give him. That is the gift of solitude, the chance to become your own teacher. Ask yourself, if no one were watching, if there were no social pressure, how would I want to live? The answer may surprise you. Perhaps you would discover that you want to paint, to write, or simply to live more slowly. Loneliness, instead of being a fear, becomes the map guiding you back to your true dreams. To begin this journey, you do not need to do anything grand. Each week, simply give yourself at least 1 hour for an activity you love but usually neglect: gardening, painting, or just sitting quietly under a tree. This is not wasted time. It is a precious investment in your soul. And then one day you may realize loneliness is no longer a dark room, but a bright path. On that path, you meet yourself, authentic, simple, and free. Lesson 7. Letting go of social pressure. In American society, success is often measured by material standards: a large house, a luxury car, a high-paying job. From childhood, many are taught that their worth is tied to achievement and reputation. Yet this very pressure often leaves us exhausted, anxious, and sometimes forgetting the true meaning of life. In the Heart Sutra, the Buddha taught, "Form is emptiness, emptiness is form." This teaching reminds us that everything we cling to, possessions, fame, status, is temporary. They are not a solid foundation for happiness. When we let go of the pressure to succeed by society's definition, we open the door to live in alignment with our own values. Imagine a man in California driving through heavy traffic every day to a job he does not love. He endures it only because he fears that leaving would make others see him as a failure. But if one day he dares to listen to his heart and release the fear of judgment, he may find another path, one where his work and his life flow in harmony with his personal values. In Buddhism, letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility or denying effort. It means no longer allowing outside standards to control our spirit. When you realize you do not need to prove yourself through possessions or praise, you begin to taste true freedom. Psychology confirms this truth. People who define their worth based on external factors often suffer higher levels of stress and anxiety. Meanwhile, those who live by inner values, such as creativity, kindness, or spiritual faith, tend to experience greater peace and fulfillment. Ask yourself, am I living according to my own wishes or according to society's expectations? The answer may reveal that much of the pressure you feel is unnecessary. And when you bravely let go, you may feel as if you have set down a heavy backpack you never needed to carry. Picture yourself walking on the beach at sunset. The wind brushes your hair, the waves roll gently onto the shore. You walk without carrying anyone else's expectations. It is just you and the setting sun, reminding you that every day is precious. In that moment, you realize happiness is not found in comparison, but in living fully as yourself. Here is a challenge for you. This week, choose one social pressure you often place on yourself, perhaps the image of having to succeed or having to be perfect, and practice letting it go. Pay attention to how your heart feels without that burden. You may discover a lightness you have never known before. Lesson 8. Mindfulness at work. In the busy pace of American life, work often becomes the greatest source of stress. Constant emails, endless meetings, stacked deadlines, all of it can make us feel trapped in a never-ending cycle. But the Buddha taught that awareness can be present in every moment, even as we work. Mindfulness is not a luxury. It is a skill we can bring into each daily task. Picture a morning at the office. Instead of eating breakfast while replying to emails, you take 1 minute just to breathe deeply. Instead of rushing to juggle many tasks at once, you give your full attention to one thing. When writing an email, you know you are writing an email. When typing on the keyboard, you feel each keystroke. These small actions transform work from a chain of pressures into a practice of mindfulness. A study from Stanford University found that applying mindfulness at work can increase productivity by 25% and significantly reduce stress levels. When the mind is not scattered, you think more clearly, stay calmer, and discover solutions more easily. This shows that Buddhist wisdom is not only spiritual, but also deeply practical in modern life. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha taught about maintaining awareness in every action. Walking, standing, lying down, or sitting can all be meditation. If we apply this to our work, each task is no longer a burden, but an opportunity to train our focus and inner peace. Imagine working on a difficult project. Instead of letting worry take over, you return to your breath. Step by step, you move through the task. And when you look back, you realize that not only did you complete the project, You also learned how to work with a calm and steady heart. Here is a challenge for you. Tomorrow, choose one specific task. It could be writing a report, cooking a meal, or even washing the dishes, and do it with your full attention. No multitasking, no rushing. Simply be fully present. You may be surprised to see peace arise even in the simplest of tasks. Lesson 9. Living fully in the present moment. We often live in memories of the past or worries about the future, but the Buddha taught that happiness can only be found in the present moment. Only when you are fully here and now are you truly alive. Picture a peaceful morning in the park. You sit down on a bench, breathe in deeply, and feel the fresh air filling your chest. You breathe out, letting your worries dissolve. In that moment, there is no past to regret, no future to fear. There is only you and your breath, simple yet complete. Meditation is the bridge that brings us back to the present. When you sit in meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts without being swept away by them. You see them come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky, and slowly you realize that your mind is not the storm, but the vast sky behind it, calm and steady. Science also confirms this truth. People who practice mindfulness meditation regularly not only reduce stress, but also improve memory, sleep, and overall happiness. A study in the United States showed that just 5 minutes of daily meditation for 1 week can create a noticeable difference. Here is a small challenge for you. Spend 5 minutes each day sitting quietly and breathing. If you keep this up for 7 days, you may notice a change, a lighter mind, a more peaceful heart. And when you begin to live fully in each moment, you discover that happiness is not something far away, but something always within reach. The Buddha once said, "The past is already gone, the future has not yet come. Only the present moment is where we can truly live." When you understand and practice this teaching, you will find a kind of freedom that nothing outside of you can ever give. Today's journey has taken us through 9 Buddhist lessons, from embracing solitude, creating personal space, and listening deeply to ourselves, to letting go of social pressure and living fully in the present moment. All of these point to one simple truth. Peace lives in your own mind, not anywhere else. Start today, even with just 1 mindful breath or 5 quiet minutes, and you will feel the difference. And if you would like to walk this path with us more deeply, join our 7-day meditation challenge. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your own journey in the comments. Here is the question for you. What will you choose to let go of in order to find true happiness? We cannot wait to hear your answer.